Economics and politics are the foundation of human development.
While forming the world's earliest civilizations, Africans also laid the groundwork for the creation of economic systems.
By learning from our history, we gain the strength to empower the present and design the future. Presenting the premier forum for truth, culture, and change. Hapi Talks. Join us as we unlock the secrets to our success.
Peace, happy family. We're back again with another Hapi Talks. I just want everyone to like, subscribe, share. Also, don't forget to turn on your notifications. Also, check out our website. We have a lot of merchandise on there, t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, DVDs. I'm pretty sure you can find something on there that you like. As well as registering for our newsletter. You want to do that as well, so that way you can stay up to date and informed with everything that we got coming up. We got some good stuff coming up, some good shows, some in-person shows, some virtual shows. We got some study tours coming up, trips to Africa, so forth and so on. But most importantly, we have a brother that always spreads love with us, and he came here to share his new venture, his new book with us. Professor Brother Kaba. How you doing, brother?
My brother, I'm doing excellent. How you doing? Thanks for the opportunity to share this with the community.
Yes. Thank you for sharing your time with
No
us.
doubt,
You
no doubt.
could be any place else but here, but you chose to be
Hey,
with us.
listen, and it's all good.
Appreciate you.
All right.
So let's jump right into it. You have a new book out.
Yes.
What's the title of the book? What is it about?
This is my fifth and final book in the series.
Okay.
I often tell people, Brother Hassan, that I'm not a writer. I write books because I have something to say. Starting about 2014, I decided that it was time for me now to put some ideas together to create a way in which we could look at ourselves as a people. And so my first book that I wrote was dedicated to Professor William Leo Hansberry, a brother who taught at Howard University from 1922 until 1959. He was the first scholar to develop a curriculum on African history in an accredited college, which was Howard University. He wrote the first three curriculums. And when I was going for my master's degree at Hunter College and then also at CCNY, the City College of New York, I spoke to Dr. Clark and I asked him, what do you think? When I finished my coursework, I said, what do you think I should do? He said, I think you should study William Leo Hansberry because he was a curricular writer and a staff developer. That's what I was doing. He said, because in studying him, you'll be able to understand, because Dr. Clark was his student. And he encouraged me to do that. And when I began writing my books, I said, okay, it is the African tradition to pour libation to those that came before you. And because of the impact that Professor Hansberry had on my educational career, I dedicated this book to him. It's the intellectual libation for Professor William Leo Hansberry, the first person of African descent to write a curriculum in an accredited college. So it was that book that blessed me. I took my master's paper that I did in history at Hunter, and I took the master's paper that I did in education, supervision, and administration, and I combined the two together, and that's the book. The book I wanted to write was Shabaka Stone. It's my third book. I was given a Xerox copy of a book titled Stolen Legacy by Dr. George G.M. James. My mother worked at a Mobil Oil. And brothers and sisters in the Xerox department, because it was such a big corporation, they had their own Xerox room. And my mother brought material down to make copies of. And also, my mother showed them a book that I had written on Ethiopia. And when my mother went to pick up her work, they said, your son wrote this? She said, yeah. And he said, well, if your son likes this, he needs to know this. And that was the Xerox copy of Stolen Legacy. I was very interested in astronomy. I wanted to be an astronaut growing up. So when I read chapter 8, the Memphite theology, from page 139 to 151, I had never read anything like that in my life. First of all, Stolen Legacy blew my mind, period. But this particular chapter, chapter 8, took me into the cosmos. And I said, I'm going to do something with that one day. And so my ideal was to write Shabaka Stone, but I needed to write a book to prepare the community for some of the things that would come out in the Shabaka Stone. Okay. So my second book was Spirituality Before Religions. And Spirituality Before Religions laid the groundwork for the interpretations of a lot of the work that the Shabaka Stone would introduce the community to, which basically is an understanding, because Spirituality Before Religions, and as I've listened to my brother Mfudishi, and I've listened to my brother Baaba Heru speaking on the level that they spoke of, you know, I subtitled Spirituality Before Religions, Spirituality is Seen Science, and Science is Unseen Spirituality. Two sides of the same coin. Can't separate the two. And so Spirituality Before Religions got into all of the different, like the pyramid text, the coffin text, the Book of the Coming Forth, Today by Night. It got into the kingdoms that would create these writings. The Book of the Coming Forth, Today by Night, the 12 Hours of the Amduat, just defining so that I knew where I was going to take the community. But the most important aspect was the last chapter, in which the last chapter is where we go from here. Because see, I'm a solutionaire. Okay, we can do all the theorizing we want to, pontificating, sound good, you know, all that's good, but well, what do you do with it? Yeah. And so what I decided to do was to take that concept of where we go from here and understand we are now moving out of the age of Pisces into what is called the age of Aquarius. But Baba Heru said, no, it's the age of Hapi. That's our version of what is called Aquarius, the water bearer. We're moving into a feminine energy age. For the next 2,160 years, the feminine energy is going to dominate the planet. You can see it happening right now, and you can see Black women taking center stage all around the world, from the Caribbean to Africa to America to Europe, taking the stage. And they are putting themselves in the place that they know. They are a Sibyl. They are the oracle readers. They are the Nebetet of the future generations. They are the mother wit of the future generations. We all have male and female in us by having a mother and a father. Yeah. Yeah. We all have that X chromosome. But Spirituality Before Religions led to Shabaka Stone. We went from a definition of the cosmos into the book that describes how our ancestors viewed the coming into being and the continued becoming of the cosmic universe. That's what Shabaka Stone does. It, in fact, is where every holy book comes from. Right there, you can see in Shabaka Stone, in what was carved on that stone, 3.4 feet by 4.8 feet. It's in the British Museum, Shabaka Stone. That tells us not just where we've been, it tells us where we are, and it instructs us to where we need to go. And that's what I'm attempting to do in my book, Shabaka Stone. But now I wanted to take that energy and bring it down on Earth to help explain what had happened. So I now went from the Shabaka Stone in the cosmos to the development of the Earth and the importance of understanding melanin. But it was Dr. Sebi. I've been going to him since 1988. I go to his son Victor and also his wife Ma'at. I go to her for my herbs and for all the things I need to keep me moving along. And I invited Dr. Sebi in Brooklyn. I invited him to come to one of my presentations on melanin, you know, and he came, and afterwards he left. He didn't hang around. And when I went back to the Institute, it's right down there by Barclays Center. In fact, that's where 616 Pacific Street, that's where Dr. Sebi's Herbal Institute was, right there. In fact, he had to move out for them to build Barclays Center. That's how deep this gets. And he said, Booker T, that was my name before Kaba Hiawatha. Booker T, you're always talking about melanin. It was carbon before melanin. And so my fourth book, in bringing the energy of the Creator down on Earth, What I did was I saw it as a way to be able to talk about carbon. Because like a student, as I am, when the master teachers speak, I listen. So I did research on carbon. And I came to understand what carbon was. And then when I understood what the carbon atom was, I came to understand what melanin was, because there are 4, according to Dr. John G. Jackson in his book, Introduction to African Civilization. There are 4 basic major atoms on our planet: nitrogen, oxygen, hydrogen, and carbon. Hydrogen, nitrogen, and oxygen, you can only put no more than 4 of those atoms together to create a molecule. You can put 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen, you make water. You can put 2 parts hydrogen, 2 parts oxygen, and create hydrogen peroxide. You can do the same thing with nitrogen and oxygen, but you cannot put any more than 4 together to create a molecule. But with the introduction of carbon, carbon is the cosmic glue. It's what keeps everything together. It glued. Not only can carbon bind other atoms, carbon can bind with itself. Talk about self-love. Can bind with itself and create the millions upon billions of molecules that exist. That's what Dr. Sebi meant when he said before it was melanin, it was carbon, because melanin has the hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen atom in it, but it's the carbon that creates the molecule that allows it to stay together and create what we call organic life, because organic life is what carbon has assimilated, period. That's what organic life is. And so my book, Carbon Before Melanin, goes into, it explains why your hair texture is what it is. It explains why your complexion is what it is. It explains why some of us look the way we look. So this book, Carbon Before Melanin, is good for any human being on the planet that wants to trace back their ancestry to the original human family, the Twa and Mbuti Khoisan of Central and Southern Africa. But now, my 5th book is the actual codification of what they call the God body. And this book, Who Were the Moors Before the Moors? Because we do a lot of talking about the Moors. Yeah, we sure do. But you know, one of the great challenges I find is that we stay very close to the period of 711 to 1492 AD. When you stay in that area, Indo-Europeans had already come out of the ice mountains and come down south into the world. So we find them on the scene. But who were the people that were in Africa? Who were the people in the Mediterranean basin? Who were the people that were in Europe that became who they became as the Cro-Magnon people? Who were they? So who were the Moors before the Moors was meant to describe who the Moors were. Because there's a lot of folk of different Indo-cultural backgrounds that are trying to lay claim to be the Moors. They lay claim to be the original Egyptians or the Kemites. They weren't even there when the pyramids were built. They were not even there when Africans were first going into Spain, into what we today call Greece. There's a section I have on Etruria. Etruria had a capital known as Rumay, R-U-M-A-Y. Yeah. Etruria is Italy. And the people there were Etruscans, black people. In the islands of Sardinia and Corsica, black people. Minoa, black people. The Cretan civilization, black people. The Olympics coming out of the Sed Festival in Africa. Okay, the word Olu come from Yoruba. It's not even an Egyptian word. There were Africans that were in West Africa that were in the Mediterranean. Olu. And Olu gives the impression etymologically, when you look at the study of the word, it comes from the concept of the mountaintop. And that's where the Greeks got Mount Olympus from. Olu. That's where the word Olympics come from. Because the Olympics, the activities in the Olympics are all military acts. And what our ancestors did in this Mediterranean basin, Africans, only Africans were here now, what they did is that they decided to begin to train their children to be able to deal with war if they had to. Yeah. So what do you have? You have the javelin, which is the spear. You have the discus and the shot put, which is elements of war. They threw rocks at each other. You have running, you have swimming, you have wrestling, you have boxing. You have the high jump. All of that is military science. And then that's where sports came from. And when you deal with balls took the place of the shot put and the discus, the rubber, and all the other things. That became where you can see, if you study sports, you can see that when you throw a football, that's a discus. That's a shot put. When you stop and think about the sports. When you think of golf, you're hitting something with a stick. When you think of baseball, all of these came out, and there's a section in the book that deals with the African origins of the Olympics. Because, James Brown has a song, and the song say, like, I want to get down. But in order for me to get down, I got to get in deep. We have to get in deep in our culture. We have to go behind. When we heard Brother Mfudishi talk about how to begin to describe and explain things as opposed to just saying them. This is what we have to start to do with our people and our children. This book, Who Were the Moors Before the Moors, is what I consider to be my last book, because I'm writing curriculums now. I'm writing curriculum on solar power, because solar power is the future wealth of the planet. And since I'm saying it all the time, I want to teach us how to teach solar power to children. I'm writing a piece on AI. Some people say artificial intelligence. I can understand that, but I'd rather go with the natural, which is ancestral intelligence, because there's nothing in artificial intelligence that the ancestors didn't put out there many, many years ago. So I'm writing curriculums now, and I'm ready to go out on tour. Harun Nesset and I, my partner and I, are ready to go out on tour, and we're going to visit various places to teach this to the people. It's time for us to stop talking about what we should teach our children, and it's time to now teach it to them. And so this is what I want to do, and I invite the community to support us. Cash App, $ Kaba Kamene 7. Do you want to help us? Because I'm going to do this. But Brother Hassan, I will do it better and in more places with the support of the community. Yes. I see in politics, they can do a fundraiser and they create millions of dollars. And what are they going to do with that money? What am I going to do with the money? I want to go into Arkansas. I want to go into California. I want to go to the south side of Chicago and parts of Detroit. I want to go to South Central. I want to talk to the Bloods and the Crips. I want to talk to all those brothers and sisters who have the dynamism. The two most powerful organizations in our community is the church and the gangs. I watch gangs. The way in which gangs are formed are in hallways of middle schools. The children that get kicked out of class. They all hang out together in the hallway. I used to bring them into my classroom because I ain't going to let you be in the hallway because you're going to get in trouble. And what happens is that brother that's the gang leader, he's doing the best that he can with what he got. I ain't judging. I understand. He's at war because everybody's at war with him or her. And so what the brother said to the young brother from middle school, say, you hungry? Yeah, I'm hungry. Come on. I'll take you to a chicken shack. What you want? I like them wings. You want French fry? Yeah. How about a drink? Yeah. Guy say, supersize it. Yeah. He say, you like these sneakers? They're nice. I can't afford, but come on. I'm going to take you get a pair of sneakers. What is that gang leader doing? He is that child's father. That's right. Gangs are families. They are families that care for each other, that approve each other, that accept each other. And what I want to tell that gang leader is I want you to take your family in a different direction. I ain't going to stop you from doing what you do. I just want you to take it in another direction. And understand that the Black Panthers were formed from a lot of folk that were in street organizations. Let's get this together. But who are you? You're a Moor. And you were a Moor before the Moors. There you go. So let's get this together once and for all, family. Help me get out into my community and talk to our people.
So when you talk about the Moors before the Moors, how far back do you go as far as time is concerned and as far as geography is concerned? Like what part of the world and what time frame?
All of my books are connected. So carbon is connected to this book. I take you back into the cosmos. You were a Moor before you were on the planet. Your energy was Moorish carbon, nanodiamonds. You know, in space, you have this blackness, this dark matter that moves in on itself. It just pushes, dark energy pushes matter in. And when there's no more space in that little, what the Dogon call Kiziuzi, the littlest thing, it implodes. And when it implodes, that blackness crystallizes and becomes stars. Stars are crystallized blackness, just like coal is crystallized. Diamonds are crystallized coal. We black people, we black, and we've been put under a lot of pressure. And we are diamonds in the rough. And so I start there to help us understand you were a Moor before you were on Earth. And then I take you through the Earth. And I show you when you were bacteria. I show you when you were a plant. I show you when you were fish, when you became amphibian, when you became reptile, when you became mammal, and then when you became the mammal that is the human being. And then I take you through the processes of all that humanity. And then I take you as a human being and I show you when you were in Ouagadougou, which is what they call ancient Ghana, but it's Ouagadougou. I take you back before the Sahara was a desert. I show you a picture of what the Sahara looked like before it was a desert, and that there were African people in that area. I take you into, from Ouagadougou, I take you to the Etruscans. I take you into the civilizations that were in Africa, in West Africa, because with all blessing, there's a lot of reason to honor and respect Kush and Kemet, or Egypt. But when pyramids were being built in East Africa, great things were being built in Nigeria, and in Ghana, and in Senegal, and in Congo, and in Luba, and down when you get into Southern Africa, Azania. I have a whole section on Azania, the Khoisan people. Who was the first family? Who were the first Moors? They were the Twa Mbuti of Central Africa and the Khoisan of Southern Africa. And in this area is where the human family came into existence, and then they moved across Africa. And then they became the Kushites. They grew taller. Because a derogatory term for the Twa Mbuti Khoisan is pygmy. Okay? And they've gotten us laughing at pygmies. But if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. Because it was in their resilience to live that they were able to become the Kush, the Kushites, the Azanians, the Ouagadougou, Malinki, Dogon. I have a section on the Dogon. Dogon were Moors. And so then of course, I'm going to focus on the hands that built the pyramids, built the White House. Because that same African tradition that was in West Africa, when we were captured, kidnapped, held against our will, and brought to this part of the world, as Mfudishi was saying, only the best of the best could have survived that. The very best of the best came here and built the White House. I think that's why they're trying to destroy the White House right now. That's why they're tearing that bad boy down right now, because they don't want anybody to know that figure on top of the Capitol building is a black man. Black people built that. It's called a Liberty Cap. And black people knew that there was a code that they had, Tutnese, if you want to call it that. That black man with that Liberty Cap, that was a black man. That's what our ancestors were telling us when we look up there. That's a black man on top of the Capitol. This is our history. So it's not just the concept of back then, it's about now. And what can we do? And then I honor 3 Moors. The first one, Noble Drew Ali, the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Number 2 is Clara Muhammad. Because while, and with all due respect to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and to all those that came before, Sister Clara Muhammad was the one that kept the Nation of Islam in place when they had arrested and put in prison her husband, Elijah Muhammad. The nation would not exist today if it wasn't for that sister. But I also have a special liking for her because she is the mother of homeschoolers. She started homeschooling her children. The law came to her house and was going to take those children, and she told them, police, I'll be dead as a doornail before I let you touch my children. And then the third one, of course, is Clarence 13X, Father Allah, the founder of the Gods on Earth. And so I honor them as Moors to show today I'm a solutionaire, Brother Hassan. I use the metaphor of a slingshot because children always say, well, why do I have to go back there? Why do I have to go back in back history? What is back there, the past, going to do for me? And I use the metaphor of a slingshot. And the slingshot is the idea, and the purpose of the slingshot is to project something in front of you. But the further back you go, the further in front you're going to send that projectile. So I want to take our minds and put it in that slingshot. And I want to take you back as far as I can go. And when I release it, I'm bringing you back here to project you into the future. And children say, well, you know, now that you say it like that.
Makes a lot of sense.
Who were the Moors before the Moors?
Yeah.
Who were we before we were conscious? Who were we? Because what is it that we have yet to do? We still have work to do, Brother Hassan. And I'm ready to get down. But in order for me to get down, I got to get in deep.
That's right.
We're going to get deep.
That's right.
And this book go real deep.
Well, listen, brother, I can't wait to purchase one. And why don't you let the people know where they can purchase it? Let us know what your Instagram is, website.
Absolutely. My website is one place, and it's up now.
Okay.
My books finally came today. My website is www.kabakamene.com, KABAKAMENE.com. It's on my website, along with my other books. And then on my Instagram, I have it in the link in my bio. Who were the Moors before the Moors? This is my biggest book that I've written.
Oh, really?
366 pages. Because I couldn't let nothing out. This one was, you know, when you ready to move?
Yes.
That's what this one is. But every one of my books is connected one way or another. And that's why it's a series to me.
Yeah.
And like I say, I don't plan on writing any more books. And I write because I have something to say. This book puts the period at the end of my sentence. Who were the Moors before the Moors?
Well, we appreciate you, brother. We appreciate you sharing your brain with us, sharing your mind with us, sharing your spirit with us. Okay? And all the best to you. And I'm sure you'll do good with the books.
Peace, brother.
You'll do good.
I look forward to it. And as long as I got brothers like you and Brother Taki and my very good sister Felicia,
Yes.
it ain't over till we win.
Indeed.
Keep on keeping on.
Indeed. All right, happy family. Once again, y'all heard it again. Take the knowledge, apply it to your life, and keep it pushing. Peace.
Economics and politics are the foundation of human development.
While forming the world's earliest civilizations, Africans also laid the groundwork for the creation of economic systems.
By learning from our history, we gain the strength to empower the present and design the future. Presenting the premier forum for truth, culture, and change. Happy Talks. Join us as we unlock the secrets to our success.